Hi, everybody. My name is Barbara Genco, and I'm the collection management editor at Library Journal. And I'm also a ad hoc member of the Association of American Publishers Trade Libraries Committee. And this event is the final event for librarians that the association planned specifically for librarians who buy and provide books to the nation's readers. So I want to say thank you to all of the members of the Association for American Publishers Trade Libraries Committee. And really say thank you to all of you for being engaged this long in ABA Book Expo America. We're going to be doing, we have a little sort of rules today. Talia, I don't know if, who has the,
There she is.
Okay. We have some rules of the game. We're going to try to keep it to 8 minutes per shouter. If another librarian on the panel talks about the book that you're also talking about, we're asking people to hold that book up. And if we have time at the end, we will do a lightning round of suggestions of items that we found on the floor. Finally, if we have time for Q&A, we ask people to line up behind the microphone, behind Michael Rogers of Library Journal, and Michael will, poke you when it's your turn. Anyway, today I'm going to just announce who our panel is composed of. That's not correct English, but it's a long conference. My left, your right, Barbara Hoffert, editor of Library Journal's Pre-Pub Alert. Next, Douglas Lord, Library Journal's Books for Dummies columnist. No, Books for Dudes columnist. Connecticut State Library and Shepherd.
Freudian slip there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know why. Robin Nesbitt, Technical Services at Columbus Metropolitan Library, which you may remember was Library Journal's 2010 Library of the Year. We have Nora Rawlinson, the co-founder and editor of earlyword.com. And we have Alene Moroni, who is the manager of selection and order at Kings County Library in Washington State. Now I'm just going to start. The goal here is that we were supposed to roam the halls of Book Expo America, find stuff that really engaged us and interested us. Some of the publishers pitched things to us, but this is what we liked, and this is what we suggest you think about for your customers. First book I liked, Rin Tin Tin, Susan Orlean. Now ask me why. I don't know why. I just think this is a complete winner for us. Susan Orlean, how many copies? Oh, you got an autographed copy. How many copies of The Orchard Thief went at your libraries? Also, she's a continuing wonderful writer for The New Yorker. This is everything you always wanted to know about Rin Tin Tin and more, much, much more from his sweet beginnings as a puppy during World War I, being rescued by a doughboy, brought back to America, where he became a movie star. Then he had 18 generations of Rinty? 11 generations of Rinty, and certainly he was an important part of my childhood, 1950s children's television. Open the gates, Rinty needs to get in. So, got to think about it. Susan Orlean, Simon & Schuster, Rin Tin Tin. I always like to pick an art book or two every time I come to BEA. This is my winner. Wonderful Black Dog Leventhal. Every single painting in the Louvre. What it reminded me of, first of all, I got to say, Mike Rockcliffe from Workman. This is totally app-worthy, so think about it. Wow. I also hope it's the beginning of a series because it's so thrilling to have every single painting from the Louvre. It beautifully produced, wonderful, and it comes with a CD-ROM. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. As I said, I adore books about art, and one of my favorite writers about art is Robert Hughes. And Robert Hughes has a new book coming from Random House, Rome. Now, we've all heard him tell us everything we wanted to know about Australia and the Fatal Shore. His last book on Goya was brilliant, affecting, moving, an exquisite biography. This book actually, once again, he's going to filter his own experiences of Rome and the history and art of Rome in his own inimitable style. I'm thrilled. I can't wait to read it. Please, please send it to me. Then we've got, please, The Swerve. I know everybody in this room has read On the Nature of Things by Lucretius, right? Show of hands. Okay. This book is by Stephen Greenblatt, who you may remember from Will in the World. I love him because he's such a brilliant synthesizer. He manages to pull so many elements of history, art, philosophy, religion, culture, all together into a coherent, thoughtful whole. And this book, The Swerve, really is about the Renaissance and what this particular book, which was rediscovered, and how it changed the world forever. I love Steven Pinker. I'm sure you've seen all these ads all around. A little sobering, right? A painting of the Binding of Isaac. Okay, but one of the more scary stories in the Hebrew Bible. But anyway, this is a book called On the Better Angels of Our Nature: Why Violence Has Declined. I don't know about you, I don't think it has. So I definitely want to read what Steven Pinker has to say about it. I'm always interested in what he has to say. Speaking of people, I always want to know what they have to say. Thomas Friedman. I love Thomas Friedman. I think the bestseller lists show that America is very interested in what Thomas Friedman has to say. This book, written with Michael Mandelbaum, is a book called That Used to Be Us: How America Fell Behind in the World We Invented and How We Can Come Back. I find him an amazing writer that can reach people at all levels of understanding around the economy, history, science, culture, and the world events. And he makes it intelligible and comprehensible to the regular person on the street. Now, this book I picked just because Anne Reid's new book on the epic siege of Leningrad. You're going to say, why do you care? I actually am amazed by all of these World War II anniversaries. And if you ever visit St. Petersburg, Leningrad, the wounds of that war are still very present. They call it the Great Patriotic War. And as you travel into Leningrad, you actually see the places where people hid food and hid and tried to find whatever they could during that astonishing siege. Now, there's been many books about Leningrad. This happens to be written and is going to be released because it is a tie-in to the 70th anniversary of the siege of Leningrad. How am I doing for time? Oh, excellent. Now we're moving on to great women. I don't know about you, I cut my teeth on film criticism reading Pauline Kael in The New Yorker. We have an extraordinary opportunity to read a biography of Pauline Kael. Pauline Kael, A Life in the Dark by Brian Kello. I'm really excited about this. I think that she really transformed the way Americans think and view film and began a real conversation all over about what it was that was unique about American film. And I'm happy to say that Viking in the Library of America has bringing out, as part of this, The Age of Movies, selected writings of Pauline Kael. I was talking to one of my colleagues at the DC Public Library, and she said she's been getting complaints because Pauline Kael's film criticism are out of print and you can't get it. So once again, this is Pauline Kael, A Life in the Dark, Brian Kello, published by Viking. Another great woman that I am fascinated by is Clover Adams. I find Clover Adams fascinating partly because, well, she killed herself, and secondly, possibly one of the most beautiful statues of late 19th century American funerary sculpture, the St. Gaudens statue, the Adams Memorial in Rock Creek Park in Washington, Grief. I also had read a biography of her years ago, and that brilliant book, I think you remember, The Five of Hearts, which was a Simon & Schuster book all about Henry Adams, her husband, John Hay, and his wife Clara, and Clarence King, whom we later discovered, of course, was an African American who passed for white. This is first book in many years about her life. I have great hopes for it. It is going to be published by Houghton Mifflin in February, and it is Natalie Dykstra, Clover Adams, A Gilded and Heartbreaking Life. Now, I've got one other book